Hi, friend. I don't know why you felt the need to stitch my video. I didn't really create this trend or anything, but I do feel like you were trying to bait me because you know I'm going to disagree with you. And you know what? I'm taking the bait. My first point, not everyone has to use exfoliating products. Skin cells just come off on their own. Exfoliation can be helpful, but isn't for everyone. You said diet and nutrition play a massive role in skincare. That sentence on its face doesn't make sense. Let's look at your caption. You can't fully heal the skin by focusing solely on what you apply typically. I think you mean topically. True skin healing is inside out and outside in. You need both. This is very vague. We're not referring to any sort of like specific skin condition here. So, I mean, however, let's take acne, for example, because this is what a lot of y'all seem to go to when talking about diet and skin. It essentially amounts to victim blaming. There have been some weak associations with certain dietary intake and flaring of acne. However, the data that we have are just kind of scratching the surface. They're also inconsistent and sometimes conflicting, and in most cases, not generalizable to the entire public. So, I, as a dermatologist, don't tend to give people dietary interventions as like a frontline treatment for anything. Next thing I said, beef fat is not a good moisturizer. To which you said, tallow has helped tens of thousands of people heal and restore their skin. Heal it from what? Restore it from what? Again, we're being very vague. You mentioned here sensitive, inflamed, or reactive skin, and that it's not for everybody. Wish dermatologists would stop gaslighting people. I've become convinced that people don't understand what gaslighting is anymore. Gaslighting is not just disagreeing with somebody. So, my issue with tallow, saying that it's not a good moisturizer, is that it does not have all of the components that we would find in a typical moisturizer that hydrates the skin. It's essentially the same thing as just putting oils on the skin. And there's a reason why we don't typically just recommend that people use oils alone as moisturizers. Saying that it's a treatment for sensitive or inflamed skin, that is not bore out in the data. So I don't know what you're on about. You could disagree with me. I'm not gaslighting anyone. Next thing that I said, people of color can get skin cancer too. Because they can. And this is something that I'm really passionate about because it's been shown that people of color tend to have longer times to diagnosis and even a lag in treatment once skin cancer is diagnosed. So this is something that people should be aware of. You said skin cancer isn't exclusively caused by sun exposure, which on its face is true. There are other things that play a role: genetics, certain medical conditions, medications that people may be on that predispose them. So, yeah, on its face, that's true. Let's see how you elaborate. Skin cancer isn't solely caused by sun exposure, nutritional deficiencies. Chronic inflammation and toxic load can also play a role. And responsibly getting sun exposure is important, but the picture is more nuanced. You're so close here. I think what you're trying to get at is telling people like that they need to go in the sun, or saying that we're scaring people too much about sun exposure. Look, I am a proponent of safe sun. I go outside, and I think everybody should go outside. We're not telling people not to go outside. We're just telling them to be sun safe. There's some dog whistles here, though. Toxic load? What is a toxic load? What do you mean by that? What are you getting at? Can you be more specific, please? Last thing I said, people with acne are not dirty. Acne is not infectious. It is not something that's caused by like not washing the skin. And I think that's important for people to understand because I think it's missed in the conversation a lot. Miss Mama said acne is a symptom and not a condition. It always has a root cause. Acne is a chronic inflammatory skin disorder. So this is wrong. There are contributing factors to that disease process, though. So maybe that's what you're getting at? You said acne isn't about being dirty. Oh my God, we're in agreement on something. It's about internal imbalance. That means nothing. Gut health. No strong links there. Hormones, absolutely. Liver function, what? And emotional stress can contribute. Stress makes everything worse. She goes on to say, when we address the root cause, the skin clears. Root cause, those words have become like a pseudoscience dog whistle. Look, I think y'all misunderstand like contributing factors to a disease process don't necessarily mean like, oh, you could just remove something and cure a chronic disease. That's not how it works. So, and I think you're way off with liver function. Are you going to tell me, is this about toxic load? We finish off by saying, I'm not claiming to be an expert. I have no medical degrees or certifications. I'm just a well read individual. Whatever you read, I think you might need to look for other sources because a lot of this is way off. And actually, I don't think that the intention behind this was just sharing what you've learned. If you're not an expert, why talk? Why put it out to the world? And why come up in here and try to disagree with me? Meanwhile, you're talking about some things that I never even spoke about. Why?